10 Best Singers of All Time. 10th Stevie Wonder. Genre: soul, pop, R&B, funk, and jazz. If you're old enough to remember his days as Little Stevie Wonder, then you no doubt know that his place on this list is warranted. But more than a singer, Wonder stands as one of popular music's greatest songwriters. His contributions to genre bending, he pioneered R&B, funk, rock, pop, and soul, among others, and his heavy inclusion of electronic instruments before others realized its potential is why he demands respect in the industry. He's sold over 100 million records and has won 25 Grammys, but what so many remark about his work is that soul in his soaring, sweet voice. Put on songs in the key of life and the second he addresses the listener, "Good morn of evening, friends, you're in a good mood." 9th Mariah Carey. Fortunately, because so many of us have voiced our opinions, we can tell which vocalists have the most mass appeal, which should be taken into account. But splashed in here are my personal picks, and I expect to hear two types of complaints: that person shouldn't be in there, and where's my favorite singer on the list? The bottom line is that every singer listed would be in most listeners' lists. You'd think most of these artists would appear in the 10 richest musicians in the world list, too. But only a couple do, and you can probably tell which they are as you read. So without further ado, let's count down the list of the best singers of all time. 8th Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, best singer of all time. Genre: rock, pop, rockabilly. The man is an icon. What's more, the man is a king. The king of rock and roll. And if you're going to be music royalty, you had better have a unique voice. Luckily, for Elvis Presley, he has the voice, the moves, the charm, the hips. He also had the career, which included studio albums, live albums, and soundtracks, and several Hollywood films. Granted, he pretty much just played a musician, not really a stretch, but why play a larger-than-life character when you're already larger than life? Elvis could sing it all. Gospel, country, rock. It always sounded like Elvis, and yet that voice sounded at home in whichever genre he attempted. For this reason alone, the king deserves a place here. 7th Ella Fitzgerald. Though many these days don't know of Ella Fitzgerald, she was and is one of the best vocalists of all time. Genre: swing, bebop, pop, jazz, and blues. She's known as the First Lady of Song, though we think the First Lady of Singing, while a slight alteration, is more appropriate. She brought incredible entertainment value, but her vocal skill set is what stands out to us. Those in the know, vocal instructors, for instance, respected her diction, purity of tone, intonation, timing, phrasing, and improvisation with her scat singing. The general public may be ignorant of such nuances, but that doesn't mean we can't appreciate her work, from her time the Chick Webb Orchestra to her illustrious solo career. Her popularity exploded once she started appearing as a guest on daytime and nighttime TV shows and having roles in films. Along the way, no matter whom she sang alongside, Ella held her own and, if we're being honest, usually surpassed her duet partners. A bold statement considering the company she kept, but one listen to those recordings and you will see it's justified. 6th Frank Sinatra. Genre: jazz, swing, easy listening, and pop. If you thought Aretha Franklin sold a lot of records at 75 million, Frank Sinatra has sold twice as many. He's possibly the most popular and influential singer of the 20th century. You've probably heard of the Rat Pack, a crew of artists that ran the Las Vegas casino venue circuit for a long time. He was the lead member. The amount of Lifetime Achievement Awards, music awards, and even governmental awards are too many to count. Time magazine even calls him one of the most influential people in general. To this day, his voice is one of the most recognizable, still heard frequently in all forms of entertainment. He was an incredible showman that left as big a mark as Michael Jackson. 5th Freddie Mercury. Genre: hard rock, music hall, glitter, and prog rock. That range, people. Few rock singers can boast what Freddie Mercury can boast. There's a reason why, when he recorded Barcelona, alongside Spanish opera singer Montserrat Caballé, no one batted an eye. Is he the greatest lead singer in rock music, ever? That's a tough call to make. But his place on this larger list is irrefutable. Since his passing from AIDS-related illnesses, there have been stage plays, musicals, biographical films, and TV shows all based upon his life and that of his rock band Queen. A reality show spent a season with hopes of finding his replacement. Queen's music was sometimes grandiose, but few complained. More time spent listening to Freddie was time well spent. 4th Marvin Gaye. There is nobody that will argue if you say Marvin Gaye is one of the best vocalists of all time. Genre: soul, R&B, funk, pop, and jazz. Marvin Gaye helped shape the sound of Motown, garnering him the titles of Prince of Motown and the Prince of Soul. He went on to influence the sound of future R&B subgenres like neo-soul and Quiet Storm. To no surprise, he landed in the R&B music, songwriters, and rock and roll halls of fame, as well as earn a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Gaye's 4-octave vocal range was well known, and a testament to his singing talents, because he mainly recorded in baritone and tenor ranges, which are quite the opposite of each other. He's widely covered and sampled by artists in tons of genres, including even metal. Third, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston is one of the best vocalists of all time. Genre: R&B, soul, gospel, and dance. Before there was Mariah and Beyoncé, there was Whitney. Known as The Voice in the industry, Whitney blended R&B, soul, and gospel and injected that oral concoction into the mainstream. How was it received? Well, she's the only artist to have 7 consecutive #1 singles on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts. And really, we could have just pointed to her version of I Will Always Love You as proof she deserves to be on this list. To wit, how many singers can take a Dolly Parton song that the Queen of Country herself has performed and make it their own? We'll wait. Second, Aretha Franklin. Everyone agrees that Aretha Franklin is one of the most talented singers in our history. Genre: soul, jazz, blues, doo-wop, R&B, and gospel. Aretha Franklin's career finally took off in 1967 with her hit song, Respect, and that attention helped everyone recognize how amazing her vocal talents and other songs were. It didn't take long for her peers to deem her the Queen of Soul. Even in 1998 she was still topping the charts and releasing gold albums. She's had 1 singles on the Billboard charts, won 18 Grammy Awards, and has become one of the best-selling music artists of all time, selling over 75 million records globally. She's also the first female to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's in nearly every other music hall of fame, too. First, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is the best singer of all time. Genre: pop, soul, funk, R&B, rock, disco, and dance. Michael Jackson is without a doubt one of the best singers of all time, if not the greatest. Like others, he was given a title, the King of Pop. He's one of the most significant cultural figures and is the greatest entertainer in the history of music. Even attempting to talk about all of his awards would be pointless. They even extend into the dance world. He is truly the king. Jackson credited James Brown as one of his influences, as well as Diana Ross, from whom he learned to interject sounds like ooh into his vocals. He began singing as a soprano, descended to a tenor, and ultimately settled on the higher falsetto range.